Welcome to Exercise 0 of 60 free programming exercises, where you'll decide whether front-end programming, also called web programming, is for you. But first, what is front-end programming? It's the area of programming that deals with writing code that executes in the user's browser. So everything you see on a web page, from text to images to forms to whatever, that's all web programming. As opposed to what? Back-end programming. That's the programming done on machines owned by companies like Facebook and Google and Apple, and those machines are called servers. Now later you'll learn more about how the different parts interact. For now, just know that a web page, what you see in your browser, talks to back-end servers and gets information from them. Your exploration starts by learning about how web pages are made. There are 3 separate technologies that work together to make up web programming. The first is HTML. It stands for Hypertext Markup Language. And as the word markup implies, it's not a full-featured programming language at all. It's a markup or layout language that provides the basic structure of a page. So if we were to compare a web page to a human body, HTML is the skeleton. The next technology is CSS, short for Cascading Style Sheets. Now, while HTML gives structure to a page, CSS gives style. So from changing font types to sizes to colors to moving things around on the page to, well, pretty much anything you can imagine in terms of styling, CSS lets you do that. So back to our human body analogy, maybe CSS is the muscles and skin that wrap the skeleton. And then the final technology is JavaScript. JavaScript is a true programming language that breathes life into web pages. It provides interactivity between the user and the web page. HTML and CSS are necessary to build the web page, but all the action happens with JavaScript, and it's going to be the main focus of these exercises. Now, in a minute, I'm going to ask you to point your browsers to a website and have you sign up for a free account. If you haven't seen the video that deals with this, please do so now. This site is known as a REPL, short for Read, Eval, Print, Loop. Basically, it's just an online workspace where you can complete early exercises. Later, you're going to download something called an Integrated Development Environment, or an IDE. You might be getting the idea that developers love acronyms, and they certainly do. You're going to use the one preferred by most web developers. It's made by Microsoft, and it's free. But a REPL is a great way to get started without worrying about downloading and setting things up. And just one word about how these exercises were written. They are not exhaustive tutorials meant to teach you web programming. That would take months. What they are intended to do is gradually, successively, help you answer for yourself 2 questions. 1, am I smart enough to be a programmer? Now, if you've read the other areas of the website, you'll know that I think this is largely a dumb question. But dumb or not, it's a real question, and it's one you'll need to answer for yourself. And then the second question is not a dumb one. Would you enjoy being a programmer? Now, no job is pure joy, but you don't want to get into something that you're going to hate. So these exercises will expose you to what programmers do on a daily basis. Now, personally, I love programming. I find it exciting, stimulating, interesting, and so forth. But will you? Well, these exercises will help you discover that. And then one suggestion about the instructions. These are actual PDF files displayed in your browser. You may find it easier to download the PDF so that you don't have to bounce back and forth between it and the REPL. Unless, of course, you have 2 monitors, in which case you could have the PDF open on one monitor and the REPL open on another. So now you're ready to get started. Follow the PDF to complete the REPL. The first several exercises should be pretty easy. They'll get more complicated along the way, but you'll almost always have help from files in the REPL that begin with the word answer. Depending on the exercise, you might have answer.html to show you what you need to have in your index.html file, or you might have answer.css for what you should end up with in your index.css file, or you might have answer.js for what your final index.js file should look like, or you might have some combination of them. I encourage you to try to go as far as you can before you turn to the answers. For some of the exercises, you'll absolutely need some help. But for these early ones, if you take your time, you should be able to follow the instructions in the PDF. Good luck, and I'll see you in exercise 1.